Okay, so now that we've learned about how viruses can infect cells, and then there are two different types of infections, how can we treat viruses? So we've already said that we can't kill viruses because viruses are not alive. So we can't kill them with antibiotics or anything like that, but we do have some ways that we can maybe prevent them or whatever. So history and treatments of viruses. Viruses, and I put that word in quote because it got its name from, we'll talk about that here in just a minute, but viruses were first recognized as a thing. They weren't sure what kind of thing because they were so very small and they did not have the technology to see them under microscopes or anything. We do now with electron microscopes. And hang on back on this other page of notes, you can see light microscope, which is what we used when we were looking at mitosis under the microscope. You can maybe, if you know you're looking at it, you could see a flu virus under there. But for an electron microscope, that's it's scanning the electrons, like the actual atomic particle electron, on the outside of these images, and so you can see much, much, much smaller with that. So this is when we can really see viruses, is with an electron microscope. Not so much with a simple light microscope. So in the 1800s, their light microscopes were, not very good, but they first recognized that a virus is a thing in the late 1800s, and what they finally recognized them as a kind of a group of things was looking at diseased tobacco plants. Just like the cell that we studied in our lysogenic and lytic infections was a bacteria, plants can also catch a virus. So any cell can catch a virus. If it's even immune cells, HIV attacks our immune system. So any kind of cells can be attacked by viruses. But humans have been being vaccinated for hundreds. Even though we didn't really call it vaccination, we've been getting vaccinated for hundreds of years prior to that, even maybe like 1,000 years prior to that. So what I need you to do right now is pause the video, go to Teams, and go to videos. Sorry, go to Teams, Virology, and then videos, and you need to click on the link that says A History of Vaccination. It's a real quick video, so pause me. Don't click out of it, just pause me, and then go back to Teams, click on that video and watch it. If it says like to sign up for something, don't do any of that, click the X. But just watch that video real quick, and it gives a really good history of early vaccinations. Okay, so the evolution, and all that word means is change over time. So how has a living thing changed over time? So the evolution of a virus is unknown. Because remember, we can see evolution of like plants, we can see evolution of different types of animals because we can find their fossils in, buried deep down in earth, and we can timeline that based on where they are in the earth's crust and stuff like that. We can't see viruses. We don't have a fossil record. So there isn't a fossil record. They're too tiny. They were there. We have no doubt that they're there because they are just like a little rogue piece of DNA that has, coded to say, make a whole bunch of these, make an army of these. And so they're just little mutated pieces of DNA, but we can't see them in a fossil record. Okay. So, really all we can do is try to survive a viral infection until our immune system can figure it out. So let's talk about the history real quick. I'm going to look at this little paper, and then we'll come back and take notes. But variolation, you would have seen that in the video that you just watched. Variolation is where back early 10th century, they would take the scrapings of, the pus or something, or maybe a scab, and you would sniff them, or you would scratch it into your skin, or someone would scratch it into your skin. And what they were doing really was giving you a vaccination, but they were giving you a very, very pure vaccination of whatever, typically smallpox, whatever, kind of pustule or whatever that somebody had made because of the infection. So this guy right here kind of gets the credit for being the first to vaccinate. He wasn't the first to do it. He was just the loudest. So this guy, makes a big deal, makes posters and stuff, that he went and he got the material from the cowpox. So cows with cowpox, he would get the pus from there, and he would scratch it into, or give a shot of that into people. So he got the first, and vaca means cow. So vaccination came from the word vaca because it came from cowpox originally. So that was our first true vaccinations. But this guy did it first. He just did it with his own family. He just vaccinated his own family instead of being loud about it. He just quietly tried it out to see if it would work, and it did. So this guy got the credit originally, but this guy actually did it first. And then in, like I said, the late 1800s, we finally got the word virus because it comes from Latin and it means poison. So it's just a tiny harmful agent is what they're known for, because that's all they are. They're not living. They're not an organism. You won't see that. It's an agent. It's just like a little particle. But the Latin word of virus means poison. So on the topic of vaccinations, so vaccination is a proactive type of medication. That means that you have to be ahead of it. So it's a medication given prior to. And that means prior to means before. Okay? You have to have the vaccination before you actually get the virus. Because what you're doing is you're getting a little bit of that virus in an injection, or you can have a sniff thing or whatever. But a vaccination is a substance that contains small amounts of a specific virus. Okay, so what you're really trying to do is you're giving your body little bit, instead of somebody sneezing millions of viruses and you sniffing them all up, vaccinations have just maybe a few hundred. And so your body sees your immune system sees the infection that it starts to cause on a small level, and then it starts to take care of it. So hopefully when you get a vaccine, your body handles the virus before you actually get symptoms. So that's sometimes you get sick and people will say, I'm never getting the flu vaccine again. I got the flu. Well, you might have already had the flu and you just didn't have the symptoms yet. Or your body might not have been able to handle that small amount of flu that you were given and you did get sick from the vaccination. Most people are not going to, though. So a vaccination is given prior to a viral infection to get the immune system. It's just I think about the immune system as our army. It's your personal army. And it takes them, it's like it takes them in for training. And it says, hey, look at what this is doing. And your immune system recognizes, hey, this thing, where's influenza? This thing right here is killing our cells. And so it starts to know to attack those, so that when somebody does sneeze that out on you or cough that out on you, it already knows what it is because you got the vaccine ahead of time. So it already recognizes it and attacks it right then. So it gets your immune system familiar with the virus, which should result in a quicker immune response if the person catches the virus. So the flu vaccine is not given. You don't go to the doctor and say, Doc, I need a vaccine. I feel terrible. Like, they're not going to give you one because you've already caught the virus. So you go get the flu vaccine like a month or so before flu season. You go get it earlier. That way your body is ready when when you catch it. And if you're in school or in a public place or anything like that, you're probably going to catch it. Okay, so other medications during a viral infection, we do take stuff. You go to the doctor. Remember what I said in the last video. If you go to the doctor and they give you an antibiotic for a viral infection, you should switch doctors because antibiotic is against life. Now, if you have a secondary infection or something, they might give you an antibiotic. But all the medications that you're given, whether they're over-the-counter prescription, if you have a viral infection, those are trying to get you through the symptoms long enough to survive the virus and get your immune system fighting them off. So other medications given during a viral infection, like Tylenol, cough syrup, anything like that, are to help with your symptoms or help you live through the symptoms long enough for your immune system to destroy the virus. Okay, so we do get other medications, but they are just for the symptoms. Okay, so now what you need to do is go back to your, go back to Teams, Content Library, Virology, Videos, and then go to where it says Flu Attack, How a Virus Invades Your Body. Watch that video. Be ready at the very beginning because it's pretty funny. And then I want you to get out this other paper. Hang on just a second. It's on the back of your virology research. Remember, this got changed to this Friday, the 8th, so that it would go on this 9 weeks. So it's no longer the 12th. It's the 8th. So on the back of this, there is also in Teams, there is a tab under Virology that says Calling the Shots. I want you to watch that. It might take you a couple of class periods to finish it, but watch it, listen to it. If you have to stop, like write down, the time and where you stopped and about what question you're on. Like if I finished question 4 and then I had to stop, I would put like 10, whatever, 25 minutes and 30 seconds. So I would know where to pick up next time. Okay, so do this. There's also a form for you to fill out for that. So get this done and get that put into Teams, and then I will get you ready for the next thing.